Hey everybody, it's Donald Forrest Williams. I removed my watch and my wedding ring from my hand so I don't damage myself playing the drums today. I'm doing drums for Mike. I put in an August date, it's actually October, and today is Monday, October 18th, 9:30 in the morning. I set the session up. I've got my tracks set down here to record the drums, and I've got all his tracks up here, and I'm gonna go set up my microphones now. I've got this list. I can tell which one of my 16 inputs I'm using and where it's going. It corresponds to this setup. I've got my API made from vintage API components, those 1970s API 312 preamps for the snare top and the snare bottom. Of course, we flip the phase on the bottom mic. The next one, I'm putting the PZMs that I'm gonna put on the wall next to the door, which we've got to match. I had a different setup last time. We're gonna have AKG 414 on here in the doorway. Lots of room mics. I like roomy sounds. M1's by John Hardy. John Hardy, that's a JH. He makes souped up versions of API type preamps, and he used the best input transformers, the best output transformers. He created his own op amp. These are Neve. They were racked up by Phoenix Audio, which was one of the guys from Neve's company, and when they made these from parts from actual vintage Neve consoles. So this is a vintage Neve 1271, very similar to 1272. Is a line amp and a Neve classic console from the 70s. We are going to do the kick in to the D12, and then the kick out, I'm using the next Neve, and I'm using a U87 on the outside kick, a Neumann, also from the 70s. On the hi-hat, we're going to use one of the BAE 1073s. These are brand new copies, the best copies, in my opinion, made of the Neves. So if you want something brand new and reliable and not 70s, because these, they need maintenance occasionally. Not that these won't require maintenance, but these are going to be a little more reliable than vintage stuff. So if you're looking for that Neve sound, vintage Melcors. Now, Melcor was prior to API in the 70s. These are late 60s. If you looked in it, you would see Melcor 1731 op amps. These guys left and started API. They're very fat and thick, and I use them on toms and floor tom. I don't think I'm going to be using a couple of my toms today, but if I do, I use those Melcors for now. Of course, this stuff all changes as I start to get creative and just try new things. So these are Calrecs, and Calrecs are Neve, just like vintage Neve. These would be similar to the 3114 or 33115 broadcast. These are PQ 1061s, and they are awesome. Very similar to Neve in the quality, construction, design. These are actually were made when Neve couldn't keep up with the BBC, British Broadcasting Company's demands, and they filled in the gap. And they're still in existence, as well as Neve. These have EQs on them, so these are going to go for the overheads. And I've got a slight boost on 10K, a slight boost on 1.2K, quite a good boost on 56. And we'll go plug everything in. I got a snake running there, past the kitchen doorway, up the stairs, and into the bedroom where I track the drums. So there's the snake. I've already connected channel 1, which is the top snare. I use a Unidyne 3, a DY45G. And on the snare bottom, a 545 SD. And we'll set the rest of them up now. All right, so we got the mics set up. We'll go over what we got. We already talked about the snare drum, top and bottom. Overhead, over the snare, at approximately 40 inches, is an AKG C12A. It's a tube mic, a new Vister tube mic. Over the floor tom, the Glyn Johns position, pointed at the snare drum, also 40 inches away, is a C414. The mid-80s black ones with the transformer still in them. After that, they took out the transformers. On the floor tom, there's a Sennheiser 421, which is pretty much brand new. A few years old. but it's not vintage or anything. This is a D112 AKG on the tom-tom. Then we have a D112 in the bass drum. Hi-hat AKG 451E. That's a vintage 70s one. Back to the bass drum. On the outside of the bass drum, about 1.5 feet out, is a vintage Neumann 1973 U87 on cardioid. No pads or anything. It gets hit pretty hard, but I like that sound. Room mics. We've got a pair of Crown PZMs on the wall, and then a AKG 414 in between the door, getting a lot of the room back here. This is a nice echoey hall, and it's on figure 8. Hey, bells. So I wanted to show you what I did with the individual tracks as far as EQ and compression. Let me turn on my screenshot thingamajig. On the snare, we got some DBX, just hitting it a little bit with a 4:1 compression ratio, and a Sheps 73 with the high end up 9.9 and the 60 hertz up 5.2. Snare bottom is flat. The rooms on the wall are flat. The center door flat. The overheads are flat. The kick-in has a boost at 60 on the Puig Tech, and the kick-out has a Shep 73 with a boost at 110, 3.8, and a boost at 12K at 4.3 dB. The hats are flat, the tom's flat, and the floor tom is flat. Ooh, I like to put a little bit of low end on the floor tom using the SSL channel strip. This just sounds so good. I put it at 100 and I boost it about 5 or 6K, and a little bit on the top end, the 8K. I like that. It sounds good. And that's it. Ooh, it sounds good. Oh yeah, so after it goes, the single channels all are bus to bus 1, where it's being hit with this Puig child. Superman. And then after that, it's getting bussed to this crushy crush, which sounds like this. So really, all in compression on that guy. And then it's mixed together and then it's put into the mixed together and put into this final drum bus, which is SSL, 30 milliseconds on the attack, really quick 0.1 on the release, a 2:1 ratio, and just barely hitting it a little bit. Solo those guys. You can hear the drums on. Pretty good. Pretty powerful. Whoa. Sounds good. So that's it. Thanks, Mike. Hope you like the track.